I'm Ellie Lindsay, and I've got no declaration of interest at all on the subject matter. But I'd really like you, all of you, to reflect just for one moment to think, are chronic leg and lymphatic problems a product of an aging society or a different society, an indifferent one? And as you can see, the Venus Forum of the All-Pod Parliamentary Group have really highlighted this with the document, The Silent Crisis. And also recently I worked very closely with Sergio Giancini in Italy, where he actually underpinned this with an international problem. So we haven't really moved on, have we? And when you think about it, what has changed? And I have to say, I don't think much has changed over the years. And the problems are there. Global challenge, a major demographic shift. And that doesn't only impact on science, research and technology, but the change, the society change. We have got in the UK the largest elder population ever. And the younger are now just, sort of with birth, etc. But this isn't just UK only. This is global. So the challenge is impact on each and every one of us, wherever we are in the world. People, though, are alone, they're suffering, and they have multifactorial problems. So my concern is, where is health promotion and education support, especially in venous lymphatic disease? Not a priority. So the changes and challenges are very clearly identified in this world today. As soon as you get referred, it becomes an interdisciplinary team, and you sometimes never see the same person. You're signposted to A or B. So the enormous challenge for practitioners in whatever field you're in, and we're here talking about venous lymphatic problems, we're under enormous pressure. And whilst we're striving to improve quality of care, efficiency, it really has an impact on all of us. So always think, what are the challenges for the individual needing our care? Because they're the ones that depend on it. So when I look at care versus efficiency, what do I mean? What do I really mean? Well, for me, it's the older person, the loneliness, the isolation, the socially disadvantaged, and the paucity of public health promotion. That really has an impact on my work. Because years ago, we used to talk about knowledge is power. And where is it today? It's still knowledge is power, but where is the knowledge? We have a massive shortage of global practitioners. And in the UK, the nursing situation is in crisis with 100 and I think 25,000 vacancies. So I wanted to raise this profile of, most importantly, postcode lottery, because you can go from one county to another, excellence, exemplary care in one, but in another one, nothing. So I absolutely am lobbying government to address this, because enough is enough. For me, the emotional impact is enormous. And I have a very dear friend in Catalonia, an artist, where this lady, this painting he did, encapsulates it all. The emotions of an individual living with lower limb problems. And I showed this to a nice young gentleman in his 20s. I said, what do you think of it? What do you see in this painting? He said, golly, that's my grandma. She's just like that every Sunday when I go to see her. She's in such pain with her leg ulcers. And she sits there like this with her forehead. So we've got to look at quality of life and what are we doing about it? How can we address it? How can we reduce it with the pressures we've got now? And also, I think this 42-year-old lady who I've had the privilege of knowing, fortunately, she did heal at her leg club, but her years of depression, started smoking, had to give up work, everything. She had no quality of life. I actually wrote about her. And, she was a changed person when her ulcers healed. So we should never forget the impact of living with lower limb problems. I can remember my late mother saying, I can't wear that. and I want to keep my shoes. She suddenly had to, she had edematous limbs, and she didn't want to revert. And I often think back, we always assume we know best, but we should listen and hear what they're telling us and how we can then enhance their individual self-esteem, etc. Because we do lose our independence when we're not well. And this can lead to depression, social isolation, but never ever forget the impact on their loved ones, family, friends. And quality of life is a key factor when you have to go into compression hosiery, especially flat knit. So there's a lot of hidden wounds there. And I talk about the hidden wound because I feel so strongly about it. I always think that it's one thing that we look at what we're looking at and we see what we want to see. But what do we see inwardly? How do we feel? How does that individual feel? And I think I've had the privilege of this lady. I didn't know who was caring for her father, but the impact, I had permission from her. My father actually said, I think I've had it. I don't want to go on if this is what my life is going to be like. I think I'm on the way out. I know for a fact that that service was being, there was a legal litigation going on because for him, he wanted his legs washed and they wouldn't wash his legs. And that started up a whole experience of emotions, especially for the daughter. So what are we doing and what do we mean by person-centered? What is it? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to your loved ones? And do we truly understand what it means? I sometimes think we don't. How can we? I've not had a leg ulcer. I don't know what it's like. I do know what it's like to have puffy legs. I can tell you now, I certainly can empathise with hip and joint pain, but I'm living it. So we've always got to remember to stand back and look and see what that individual is telling us. Are we conversant with all new protocols? Do we challenge them if we feel that our patient has a right to have better care? So we need to be very supportive and let's start working together, not in isolation. We need to be collaborative in that patient's journey and the individual's journey. For me, time is a big issue, the pressures we're all under. But we need to explore an individual, so that does take time. And this is where I think when I started my psychosocial learning model of care, aptly named superbly by my patient group, who then informed me they're not patients, they're members of their leg club. So I'm very proud and privileged, but I actually listened and heard what they said. And I think it's a very good example of what person-centered care delivery means, because it really does mean valuing the individual, respecting them, but also their friends or their family if they come and listen, and give compassion, dignity, and respect. And we all work together. There's a lot of myths out there that you only have a cup of tea at leg club, they don't treat, let's get something right. Let's start, breaking down barriers, attitudes, beliefs, and entrenched behaviours. Because you can see in that diagram, we work with everybody. I can't do it alone, and my colleagues can't do it alone, but together we can be a powerful force of multidisciplinary, multi-agency teams, complex wound clinics. We complement, we love working with them. We're not trying to take over. This isn't the panacea, but where you haven't got a clinic, it can be, but it also complements clinics. And we always strive to change behaviours, making them modify into well-leg mentality and the social setting of reintegrating into society. So it's a very social approach to lower limb care, and I think these photographs encapsulate everything. It's also cost effective, and we've demonstrated that with an international journal, and we've got another one coming out looking at the cost effectiveness of well-leg regimes. So it really is an alternative or a complementary, it depends how you look at it. But the whole thing is to make sure that individual is at the centre of leg club care. So what on earth is it? Everyone says, oh, this model, what is it? Well, you can see quite clearly it's set in a non-medical environment. Nobody challenges the situation of when they have blood transfusion services arriving in a bus or going into a hall. Nobody challenges that. But the thought of lifting out care into a social, non-medical environment is absolutely unacceptable to a lot of people. But you know what? It works. And that's the most important thing, because it's people we're talking about. It's informal. We know what's going on out there, but we want it to be opportunistic and bring people in as a preventative role. And obviously we don't have appointments, it's collective. They're living the experience, they're sharing. And that photograph at the end, you've got a podiatrist, you've got nurses caring, and you've got a student observing. You know, it's all of us working together, and it's a lovely, lovely leg club. And they share their experience, they've got peer support. But most importantly, the World Leg regime has been the ethos of the leg club from day one. Keep people that are healed, healed. Gone are the days of, oh, well, you know, any problems, see the GP. I used to say it myself when I was in the community. So I've lived it and done it as well. Our philosophy really is an emphasis on wellness and maintenance of health, because I think it's not just the lower limb or lymphatic lower limb that, you know, it is person getting back into society. And there's walking club, and there's a lovely photographic club at a leg club where the volunteers and the members that can mobilise without, you know, too much of a problem, go out and take photos and come back, and then they celebrate with poems and things. And this is a lovely one here, and the gentleman with the dressing on his head is 102. Now, he was deemed housebound, and the Clanidois Leg Club are in action there with their music blaring, and I've got lovely videos, but I don't have time to show it, sadly. But positive health beliefs, education and health promotion are the core elements as well. The social model, Dr. Anna Galatska did a lovely paper. I can send it to you. It's online. And if you go and visit our stand at tomorrow, you know, the conference, at the BLS conference, we'd love to see you, answer any questions. You've got Clare Mechen, who's following me, and my lovely Anita Cashin. They will give you these books, hard copy, or certainly we will send them to you. So it really is the key, the nugget, the golden nugget is empathy and support of each other. So what are my expectations? My expectations are there's such a synergy between charitable organisations that should be working for the benefit, and put attitudes aside, put preciousness aside. And we should all, we're working and liaising with Age UK, Saga, people like that. And we're all striving to give one thing, and that is quality of care. And I think with the BLS and the Leg Club, it's two charities with one synergistic voice. And I think there's a lot going on there. And I thank you, Rebecca, and your fellow colleagues, and Lorraine, who's going to speak, for welcoming us. But we must all accept that challenge and is a, you know, to change attitudes, beliefs and behaviours, and especially to redesign services, is very challenging. So you have to drag the laggards, but embrace those early adopters. So that's my story. Please go and visit the website. You're the future, you're the trailblazers. And I am just trying to raise government's awareness of disparity of postcode lottery, where you can get exemplary lymphatic services and wound care services, but sadly it doesn't exist in others. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my story. Thank you.